Good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone's doing well today. So I'd like to thank all of you all for coming and supporting. So today's lesson that's going to be on is going to be homemade pasta. So I'm going to kind of go ahead and demonstrate or show you guys a little bit about the pasta maker first, and then from there we'll go into the dough, and then I'll let you guys do your hands-on activity. Yeah. So then the aprons are there for your convenience. So if you want to go ahead and put an apron on just in case you might get dirty, go ahead and do so. The towels are there for you as well, so you can clean up your hands throughout the entire process. Yeah, exactly. So a little bit about the pasta machine itself. So this is the pasta machine. What we have on the side of the machine is to hold down. We have a little clamp, so then it keeps it stable. Over here on the little side, this is going to be showing you different sizes throughout the rolling process. And then over here what we have is the two different sizes that we can be able to go and use to go and cut the pasta itself. The larger one more for like fettuccine, smaller one for linguine. And then the hand crank. Alrighty, so let's kind of get started with the actual process of making the dough. So with the recipe itself that I have for the dough, it's usually 2 cups of flour. We usually do 3 eggs and then a little bit of water. Normally you don't add too much water into it because it's mostly just eggs and dough. And then of course some salt to go and add to the flavor to it. And then I normally start off with, inside of the bowl itself, we'll go ahead and crack the eggs into the middle. We'll create a little well inside of the flour to go ahead and allow the eggs to not kind of go all over the place.
How much flour do you have?
So right now I have 2 cups of flour inside of here. And that's gonna go with the 3 eggs as my ratio that I kind of go and base it off of. And this will make maybe, I would say, give or take 4 servings. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm just basically going and scrambling the eggs inside of the flour. And then we're gonna slowly start creating the dough. It's gonna look a little bit shaggy at first. And that's why when you notice that kind of texture, that's when you start adding the water into it. And then from here afterwards, I'll start going and doing it with my hands. So who likes pasta? I mean, hopefully everyone does. That's why you do in the class itself.
Can you use different varieties of flour?
You can use different varieties of flour. Typically, traditionally, semolina flour is going to be used through that, or a 00 is another one that we go ahead and call it, or it's just a little bit of a finer flour that's getting put into the actual mix. A lot of times too, what we'll end up using is egg yolks instead of the whole eggs, and that gives you a more yellow, really, consistency.
Is it easy to find semolina flour?
Usually, I'll go to like a central market. So more of the specialty stores is where you're gonna go ahead and find that kind of product. All right. We're gonna go ahead and actually it's gonna look a little messy at first. And it should look kind of like this. What we're gonna start doing is actually combining, we're kneading the dough basically, as we're kind of getting all of the rest of that egg together. Cause it's gonna be a little bit of a drier dough, so it's okay if it feels a little, it's gonna look weird at first, but it's a process, so just trust the process through it. And normally what I'll actually do in this part, so at home I don't like to do this. I think it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of work. So what I've actually started to go and do is put it in a food processor. So you'll do all the same ingredients that you go ahead and add into this, but you're gonna put into that food processor, it's gonna do all this job for you. And then from there, all you're gonna really have to do is go ahead and let it rest. Maybe about 30 minutes is what I'll go ahead and give it to rest. What tends to happen if you go ahead and kind of roll out your dough too early, it's gonna result in a tougher pasta, which is not kind of ideal for what we're going for. All right, and you can start seeing it starting to come together. What we're really doing is just making sure that that flour is getting hydrated with the eggs. And like I said, it's gonna be a little bit of a drier dough because that's what you're supposed to result into creating that pasta.
So that was what, 2 teaspoons of water?
Give or take roughly about 2 teaspoons. Sometimes I'll go ahead and add oil into there too as well. And then what you can kind of do when you notice it at times, like I said, it can tend to come out a little bit drier. So if it's starting to see that it's not coming together as well as you want it to do, just add a little bit more water into there. And then vice versa. So say if it is a little bit too liquidy, what you guys can go ahead and do is add a little bit more flour into it. And like this process right here, normally it'll take me about 5-6 minutes at most to continue going through. But I'm not gonna take that long. We have our little movie magic. Dough's are already done, ready to go, sitting there for a while. But I just wanna go ahead and show you that end product of how it's gonna really look. Once all of that flour is incorporated into there.
How long do you let that dough rest before you start?
Roughly 30 minutes. But like I say, the longer you let it rest, the better result it's gonna become with that pasta. It's gonna be a little bit more tender, it's gonna be a little more elastic. Is what you're going for. It's not gonna be as brittle whenever you're actually eating it.
Would you cover it with a wet cloth?
You can cover it with a wet cloth, you can cover it with some plastic. Because air is the enemy of it too, so it's gonna end up drying out really fast because there's not that much moisture in the dough itself. What's y'all's favorite kind of pasta? If we're gonna go ahead and ask some questions. Fettuccine. Anyone
Angel
else?
hair.
Angel hair. What kind of sauces?
Alfredo.
Alfredo, classic. That works out. Fettuccine Alfredo.
Yeah, I've never.
I like, yeah, go ahead. That's one of my favorite dishes. Is
Yeah.
I like just pasta and when I make it, I cook the spaghetti.
Okay.
I like to use spaghetti.
Yeah.
And I can't pronounce the name, but it's a real simple recipe. It's just some garlic and oil, and then the pasta and
Yeah.
and,
There you go.
and it's just real simple. But we really like that.
No, I like doing pasta itself too. I've always felt like they're versatile. It's an easy dish that you can kind of just go ahead and do all last minute whenever you want a quick dinner at home. All right, we're just about there.
You can actually even put spinach, sun-dried tomatoes,
Yeah.
seasonings, right? Like herbs or whatever into the dough.
Yeah.
You might want to use then a food processor because then that gets a little bit too messy, and you have to substitute then for water if you put liquid in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like a lot of times people go ahead and they'll add like spinach juice into there to make it a green pasta. You'll go ahead and add some squid ink to make it a darker pasta. And then again, you can always play around with all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that sounds so good.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and have Jose pass around the pasta dough so you guys can feel it. Go ahead and touch it, do whatever you want to do with it. I'm like, to see exactly how it is.
It's not going to be used for consumption.
Exactly.
Let's put it this way.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next step of actually using this pasta machine. So like I said, this dough's been resting for about an hour now, give or take. And then, so you don't really necessarily need any flour for this part because the dough is pretty stiff already. So whenever you're gonna do it, it's not gonna stick to the actual machine. What you wanna start off with doing is trying to make it as flat as possible to not go ahead and hurt this machine because again, it's your friend. You don't want it to work too hard. It's doing a lot of the work for you. And then, so there's little numbers on it. It goes from 1 to 9 on this machine itself. So what we kind of, a rule of thumb is to go ahead and do it in each increment. So you'll start off with the 1, then move down to 2, let the pasta go through the entire time. And yeah, all the way down to, I like to take it down to number 7, number 8, especially for the raviolis because they're gonna be a little bit, you want a little bit thinner.
Can you use a rolling pin for what you're doing right there?
You can use rolling pin on this part to just, like I said, kind of help it out a little bit. Let's go ahead and begin. So again, this is the hand crank itself, and you're gonna already start seeing it kind of form its shape. Yes, this flattens it out real good. And what I'll actually do, a little trick itself, what they taught me in culinary school, was you'll make a little loop to go ahead and make it easier, because a lot of times you're doing this on your own. Because sometimes you'll have one person kind of feeding in that pasta for you, or you're going around. So what you're gonna kind of do is create a little loop itself, or you're adding one end to the other end. So it's gonna be easier for you to start to roll it out. And now that one's gone through, we'll go ahead and go down to 2. And like I said, let's go through the increments itself. I've always felt this is the fun part of actually doing the pasta itself, just playing around with this machine. Anyone want to try it out? Want to be a volunteer today?
Sure.
Yeah, come along.
I mentioned to Jose, I'm kind of hungry. Can you hurry up?
Yeah, I got you, don't worry. You're going to be making out your food today. Alrighty. And then like I said, we'll continue going through. I'm going to go ahead and let you try it out.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and we'll start passing around the actual dough itself that I went ahead and rolled out for y'all, so we can begin making the ravioli.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do,
Just hold it up a little bit.
hold it up a little bit,
Okay.
and then start to roll it. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And like what I'll do is hold it on the palm of the hand, so then, because what I'll tend to happen is within, or even the back of the hand too.
Okay.
So then you're not actually getting those little pieces in there, but yeah, you just keep on going through,
That is cool.
right? It's a neat little thing.
Yeah. And you can buy one of these at a food supply.
Yeah, we got this one at Walmart.
Oh, Walmart.
Yeah, just go ahead online, we went and looked up pasta roller, and this is what we found.
If you can't get it at Walmart, you don't need it.
Exactly. Walmart's got everything for you.
Very cool. Excellent. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Anyone else want to play around? All right, let's go ahead and begin with actually going and making the pasta then, the raviolis. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off real quick, and then we'll go ahead and start the actual ravioli preparation. Alrighty, so you have some water that's gonna be in front of y'all. It's gonna be the glue for the raviolis themselves. And you're gonna have 2 sheets of pasta, as well as the filling. Let's go ahead and begin this. So start by, like you're already doing it, going ahead and separating those 2 pasta pieces, and going ahead and making them flat. And if you need any assistance, we're here to help. So you can either do 4 large ones or 6 smaller ones. That's the rule of thumb I'm go ahead and doing with this one. But I'll make a whole bunch of extra ones that we have here, so we'll be having plenty.
Tricky, yeah. What for hair?
Kids would have fun.
Us too.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so once we got all of our, I'm gonna give all of y'all a few minutes, just maybe another minute or so, just to help everyone else out. Alright, I think we're all pretty much set now. So you're gonna go ahead and get your filling itself. What we're gonna be doing is trying to go and make a little bit of a fingers sort of width in between each dot that we're gonna go ahead and put into there. I'm gonna go maybe, let me go ahead and try one out, and I'll go ahead and pass it around to show y'all exactly the sizes from there. We'll just put it in the middle. A nice little dollop in between each one. So like I said, we can do 6 or we can do 4 today. It's completely up to y'all. Another one I got. So from there, like what I was saying, we're gonna be going and doing whenever you go ahead and finish your filling. In between the filling, you're gonna use your water and go ahead and just pretty much put it in between all the areas that there's no actual filling in there.
Oh, no, you leave that. You squeeze from the bottom. You just squeeze it.
And then once you got that actual water on there, you'll go ahead and just fold over that top of that pasta, or if you're gonna go ahead and do it, yeah, if you had it folded on the one side to the other, fold it one side to the other, and we're gonna pretty much just go ahead and all the places that there's no actual filling, you're gonna pretty much squish down. That's gonna be the part where you're gonna connect them together.
See, mine's squishing out.
And if it is, that's perfectly fine. That helps with the glue process.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, it'll
Okay,
help a
good.
little bit, so you'll be good. Cause we're gonna be cutting them with a little crimper, so it's gonna be closing them out anyways.
See, now wasn't where we started.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. She, Goldie needs more.
Of the dough,
No, you need more dough. Yeah, the coverage.
True Italian chef.
It's got a little
So we just do the outer end.
or maybe towards,
Well, we do it in the middle.
yeah, I think so, because they're gonna be.
Yeah.
Done this before. Oh, yeah.
Yes, we
Or
are.
not. I don't know. What's it's supposed to look like when you fold it over?
So whenever you're gonna put both of them on there, you're gonna pretty much you line up your little pastas themselves. Oh, cause you got extras.
Well, this was,
no. Oh,
Whoops.
no. It's all right. We'll go ahead and help you with that.
okay, we have plenty of water.
Exactly. Let me go ahead and get you some more dough, and we're gonna put them on top of those ones, okay?
Oh, okay.
So pretty.
They are? Just dip your finger and run it around the dough.
I don't know, they may squish out. Who knows? Yeah.
You certainly would want to do this with a house full of swimming kids.
When's dinner made?
Right. Unless you got really fast at it.
Yeah, got really.
Thank you, thank you.
Oh, no.
I'm fine.
So I'll go ahead and pass these around here in a little bit, but pretty much after you go ahead and actually finish off, we're gonna have something similar to, just looking like that a little bit. Where's the two that are put together?
Looking like that a little bit.
Just a little bit. We'll go ahead and clean up those little edges, and everywhere in between the filling itself, we're gonna just cut. And then with this one, I made the four just raviolis themselves, and you just go ahead and cut them out. I'll pass them around to whoever's ready to go ahead and start cutting. And as soon as you're ready to go, I'll be over there on the other side, and we'll start boiling off your pasta.